do it.
You want to do it? Okay.
Don't matter.
Okay, we're going to begin. The meeting is called to order at 6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. We are being broadcast live over at Van Buren Channel 12 and YouTube right now. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Trustee Kelly.
Here.
Trustee Boyne.
Excuse.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Frazier.
Here.
Treasurer Bud.
Here.
The clerk is present. Supervisor,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Thank you. An executive summary of today's meeting is we have a consent agenda, which is paying our regular bills, our electrical bills and things like that. We have the board meeting minutes, work study meeting minutes, a closed session meeting minutes. We have our prepaid lists, again, the bills. We also have approval of a resolution 2601. We have settled with our full-time firefighters. We have settled with our medical expense retirement plan to replace the healthcare savings plan with MERS. Full-time firefighters have actually different needs in insurance that they've discovered. So we're moving them to a better insurance policy that handles their needs more. We're also approving the reappointments of Kimberly Knopfs, Charles Coleman, Stacy English, Tammy Wall, and Mark Woodson. They've done a fine job in the Recreation Committee, and their new terms will expire February 1st, 2027. We are having the approval of the appointment of Brian Cullen as the Planning Commission liaison and Bernard Grant as the alternate Planning Commission liaison to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And we are approving the full-time firefighters, the part-time firefighters, the police command, the police patrol, and the dispatch union contracts today for the next 4 years. There will be a presentation on Black History Month from members of the Belleville Student Council. We're excited to see that. New business today includes discussion on a HydroCorp 5-year renewal service agreement in the amount of $520,000 and discussion on the selection of Fishbeck Engineering to provide professional consulting engineering services for the Belleville Road Reconstruction Water Main Replacement Project in the amount of $113,000. Treasurer Bud, can you make an adoption of the agenda?
I make a motion, we approve the adoption as presented with the addition of item number 3, which will be to consider approval of Resolution 2026-2 to defer the review of new applications pertaining to detention centers, private prisons, large industrial projects meeting certain criteria, and power generation utilities for private use.
Support.
Thank you. Clerk Wright. I have a motion by Treasurer Bud, supported by Clerk Wright. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This motion passes. Clerk Wright, could you please make a motion on the consent agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as follows. Board meeting minutes of January 20, 2026. Work study meeting minutes of January 20, 2026. Closed session meeting minutes of January 20, 2026. Prepaid list of January 22nd, 2026. Prepaid list of January 29th, February 5th, and February 12th, all of 2026. The voucher list of February 3rd, and the voucher list of February 17th of 2026. Approval of Resolution 2026-01, IAFF Medical Expense Retirement Plan, known as MERT, to replace the healthcare savings plan with MERS. Approval of the reappointment of Kimberly Goff, Charles Coleman, Stacy English, Tammy Wall, and Mark Woodson to the Recreation Committee with term to expire February 1st, 2027. Approval of the appointment of Brian Cullen as the Planning Commission liaison and Bernard Grant as the alternate Planning Commission liaison to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and the approval of the IAFF, MAFF, POLC Command, POLC Patrol, and Dispatch Township Union contracts.
I have a motion by Clerk Wright and supported by Trustee Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We're now into public hearing, but we have no public hearing today. So I'm going to start with announcements and presentations. And the first announcement from Director Gearhart. Could you come forward?
Good evening, Board and members of the public. This upcoming Saturday, February 21st, the Van Buren Community Center is hosting our first Family Sweetheart Dance from 4 to 6 p.m. Join us for an afternoon of music, laughter, and memories on the dance floor, and dress up and snap a few photos and enjoy a special afternoon together that's all about celebrating with people who make your heart happy. Hope to see you all there.
Great. Wonderful. Is there anybody else that have any announcements? Turn it over to you, Clerk Wright.
Okay, this is one of my favorite times of the year, which is, unfortunately, we had to celebrate Black History. We have the shortest month of the year, but at least we have a month. First off, I would like to acknowledge the passing of the civil rights leader, Jesse Jackson. Throughout his life, he has one of the longest and most visible public careers of any modern civil rights leader, with a legacy that spanned activism, electoral politics, coalition building, and international diplomacy. Jackson first rose to the national prominence as a close associate of Martin Luther King during the civil rights movement. After King's assassination in 1968, Jackson carried forward many of the movement's core priorities: economic justice, voting rights, anti-poverty initiatives, while expanding the conversation to include broader multiracial political participation. Throughout his decades of activism, he consistently used his platform to spotlight issues of economic inequality, criminal justice reform, healthcare access, and educational opportunities. He also helped expand the political voice of marginalized community, normalize multiracial coalition politics, and reinforce the idea that civic engagement is a power tool for change. His unwavering voice for justice will deeply be missed, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize his great leadership. Thank you. Tonight is my honor to introduce the Belleville High School Student Council as we recognize Black History Month. Black History Month reminds us that progress is built on courage, brilliance, and perseverance of those who came before us. It provides us with the important opportunity to intentionally reflect on the contributions, achievements, and resilience of Black Americans who have shaped our nation and strengthened our community like our own. While this history is an essential part of American story year-round, this month calls us to pause, learn more deeply, and celebrate the voices and experience that have not always received the recognition they deserve. We remember national leaders such as Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Medgar Evers, and educators whose leadership helped transform our country. We also honor the countless educators, entrepreneurs, artists, public servants, and community members, past and present, who continue to make a difference in cities across the nation and right here in our own community. One of the most meaningful ways we can honor Black History Month is by listening to and uplifting the voice of our young people. Our students are not only the future of the township, they are the active contributors to it today. Their commitment to learning, leadership, and service reflect the various values we strive to uphold as a board. At this time, I'm proud to welcome the Belleville High School Student Council to present their Black History Month presentation. Please join me in giving them a full attention and support.
Thank you. Hi, so we are with Belleville High School Leadership Team, Student Council, and Black Student Union, and we are here to present our presentation on celebrating 100 years of Black history. So we're gonna do introductions first. So hi, my name is Braylon. I'm a senior at Belleville High School, class of 2026. Part of the leadership team, Link Crew, all the performing arts programs, and all the other leadership programs. What Black history means to me is not just one area, but it's all around greatness. Black history is not just American history, but it's also world history.
Hello, my name is Morgan Liggins, and I'm class of 2027. Some of the things that I participate in at Belleville High School is Black Student Union, all of the performing arts programs. I do the morning announcements, all of the leadership team crews. And one of the reasons why I really think that Black history matters to me is because it's not just history, but it's also our now, it's our present. We're living in it right now as we speak.
Hi everyone, my name is Cassidy Taylor. I am class of 27. I am publicity manager for class of 27. I'm a part of Black Student Union. I'm a leadership member and I'm on varsity dance. Why Black history matters so much to me is not just because of our weaknesses and our what we've been through in the past. It's about now our culture, the food, the art, and the music that really inspires me to keep pushing now.
So you may be asking, what is Black history? These are some of the pillars for Black history. It's civil rights activism, it's vocal contributions, protests, so political reforms, social contributions. Black history is not just people marching in the street to get rights. It is so many different things and has so many different layers that build on not just African Americans, but also everyone around us. So we wanted to start this off with the actual founder of Black History Month, Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson was a historian and educator known as the father of Black history, founded the Association of Studies of African American Life and History, and created Negro History Week, which later became Black History Month, dedicated his life to preserving and teaching African American history. His work reshaped how Black history is studied and celebrated in the United States. A quote from him is, "The cost of liberty is less than the price of repression." That quote means a lot to me because it shows that it's worth fighting for your rights and fighting for what you believe in. Is way more impactful to get that than just stay back and stay repressed.
Next, we have A. Philip Randolph. He was a labor and civil rights leader who founded the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the first successful Black-led labor union. Pressured by the federal government to end job discrimination, and he helped connect workers' rights to the civil rights movement. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1964. Next, we have Ella Baker. Baker was a grassroots organizer who worked with the NAACP and SCLC and helped found the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the SNCC. She promoted youth leadership and community-based activism, and she's remembered for shaping the movement through collective union.
Next we have Asada Shakur, pu- publicity of I'm sorry, activist and writer who spoke against racism, police, brutal, and a mass. Her autobiography influenced civil rights and justice movements worldwide, a controlled and enduring and symbol of resistance. Angel, and I'm so sorry. Alyssa Garza, civil rights movement organizer and co-founder of Black Lives Matter movement, advocate and international justice and political empowerment, recognized nationally for advising modern racial justice as activists.
So I just wanted to talk here for a second and just mention the significance of Black History Month. So as you see, these are just a couple civil rights leaders starting from the year 1926, when Black History Month originally started, to today, where we are going 100 years strong. Black History Month is so impactful because it shows how long our culture can last through resilience, through constant effort, and through all around just having a bunch of great people do a bunch of amazing things. Black history matters so much to the world and contributes so much to everyday life. And that is why we all think it's important that we all celebrate Black history, not just for a month, not just a year, but all throughout your life, because it is amazing and it's wonderful. And that is our presentation.
Great job. And I noticed for two of you, this is your second time. And remember, the first time they was nervous, but public speaking is nervous. It's nerve-wracking. I get nervous publicly speaking now, and I've been doing this for almost 18 years. It's an art you have to get used to, and that's one of the reasons why I want to bring you guys in here to get you and let you public speak in front of crowds, because public speaking is not easy at all. It's something that you have to get used to. So don't feel bad about anything. Okay, you guys did a wonderful job.
You did great. You did fantastic. Thank you for coming. This is one of my favorite things that we do, and I'm very happy Clerk Wright took it on and is in second year now, and thank you for being part of it.
Probably excuse them,
What?
probably excuse them so they can go home.
Yeah. Can we come up when we
Yeah, I
shake
think
hands?
Clerk Wright would like to picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic
Yeah.
job. Impressive resume.
Yeah. Thank you. And can we get a picture? I'm going anywhere. Can we get a picture with it, stand along here?
Yeah, why don't you go down and take a picture with
Let's
them?
go.
You want us all to go down?
Yeah.
We'll come down. Thank you very much. You guys got great futures. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to make an announcement? No, not this time. Thank you. Public comment. We're now into public comment. This is public comment on today's business. If there's anybody with public comment on today's business, they're welcome to step forward.
Point of clarification, Supervisor.
Yes, sir.
When you say unfinished or new business, is it, because I had a question on some unfinished business since I've been out of town, but does this mean that it has to be in quotes of the unfinished business on this agenda?
Anything that was on a board passed would be at the end.
Well, that's on a, not agenda. So this is unfinished business that you litigated or you did something else, but it's not on the agenda, so I just want to.
You come forward at the end. I think I know at the end.
At the end,
At the end. At the end would be better.
on the non-agenda.
It's on the agenda?
No, it's under non-agenda is what you're telling me to come to the end, so I
Yes.
want clarification.
Yeah.
So I've been gone for a while. Have we moved to only 1.5 minutes now, or where we at on how many minutes?
Give you 3.
Still 3 minutes and a follow-up.
We'll endure it. Okay, unfinished business, we have none. New business. The first item is to consider approval of the HydroCorp 5-year renewal service agreement. Can I get a motion? Trustee Martin.
To approve the HydroCorp 5-year renewal service agreement in the amount of $520,137.69 to be paid from the Water and Sewer Contracted Services Account 592-536-819-000/537-819-000.
Support.
Trustee Kelly. Director Lawrence, could you talk to us about this?
Evening, Board. Seeking approval of the 5-year agreement. Our current agreement expires next month. The scope of services that they will provide with this program is cross-connection plan and review and cross-connection ordinance, public relations program support, inspection terms, compliance with Michigan Department of Great Lakes and Energy, Drinking Water, and Environmental Health Division. They will also be responsible for inventory, annual and end review, and inspections of over 180 non-residential inspections and over 3,700 residential inspections during this 5-year program. It's very important that we approve this to protect our water supply. So I recommend approval.
The backflow system is basically because of the fact that they could back up into our water mains and poison our water and our neighbor's water.
Correct.
Okay. And it's law now, so. Does anybody have any questions? We have no questions. I have a motion by trustee Martin, supported by trustee Kelly. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much, Director. Next item is discussion on approval, the consider approval of Fishbeck Engineering to provide professional construction engineering services for the new Belleville Road Reconstruction Water Main Replacement Project. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair. Oh, go ahead.
Trustee Kelly.
Through the chair, I move to consider approval of Fishbeck to provide professional construction engineering services for the Belleville Road Reconstruction Water Main Replacement Project in the amount of $113,496 to be paid from capital outlay, system improvement appropriations 592-536-970-001-0.
Can I get a second?
Support.
Treasurer Bud. Director Lawrence again.
Okay. The Township DDA worked with Wade Trim to design and prepare bidding documents for the road reconstruction and water main replacement along Belleville Road. The combined plans were publicly advertised by Wayne County in the spring of 2026. The anticipated construction start date should be sometime this spring. Fishbeck will estimate the water main replacement will be done first or near the start of the project, and it will take approximately 2 months to complete. But in the past experience, construction delay has extended work beyond the timeline, so additional 4 weeks will be added to this. Fishbeck will provide construction engineering on the water main only. They will handle decisions regarding items which are associated with the water main installation and impact of pavement or drainage, and not assumed as part of the roadway design. Fishbeck will coordinate with county and the roadway engineers as needed.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on this? Redoing Belleville Road. We can take a vote on this, but then I'm gonna call up Director Akers so they can give us an update on Belleville Road's reconstruction. So hearing no further discussion, I've got a motion by trustee Kelly and supported by Treasurer Bud to approve Fishbeck's contract to do the water main replacement engineering. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Director. Director Akers, could you give us an update on Belleville Road's reconstruction?
Thank you. Good evening, Board. Director Coburn sent me an email with an update I wanted to read tonight. So So the township is still waiting on NEPA approval from the federal government. We have reached out to Congresswoman Debbie Dingell's office to assist in getting this expedited. Fiscal year 2025 funds have been shifted to fiscal year 2026, and Wayne County has coordinated with SEMCOG and the Michigan Department of Transportation Planner to request a Transportation Improvement Program Amendment, or TIP amendment, to reflect the shift. This meeting is scheduled for mid-March, and below are the steps that the following are the steps that the township will do once we receive NEPA approval from FHWA. MDOT can certify right away, but they will need to send the obligation request back to FHWA. This is an important step. Funds must be obligated by September 30th, 2026, which then gives us a 3-year spending window to complete the project. MDOT will prepare the bid documents and let for bid, and MDOT will select an award to a contractor. There is an agreement which needs to be created between MDOT and Wayne County because they are the Act 51 road agency, stating who the contractor is and the project cost. This will need to be approved by the Wayne County Commission. And then lastly, an intergovernmental agreement will be created between Wayne County and the township, listing the contractor, the project costs, and the township's cost responsibility. This will need to be approved by both the Wayne County Commission and the Board of Trustees, along with a resolution from the Downtown Development Authority Board committing to their portion of the project costs. With the delay to receive the NEPA approval, we most likely will be unable to start and complete tree and vegetation removal by March 31st. Due to the bat breeding season, any tree cutting, canopy removal, and vegetation clearing is prohibited between April through August. It is our goal and hope to get all approvals, bidding, awarding of the contractor, and the agreements in place during this time frame. In order to start immediately following the breeding season for late fall construction and continuing again in the spring of 2027 until the project is complete. And of course, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact Director Coburn or myself.
I know that process. It's a 6-month process once you get the NEPA. Okay. All right. That's your update. Item number 3, Treasurer Bud, could you make the motion and begin this discussion?
I make a motion, we consider approval of Resolution 2026-2 to defer the review of the new applications pertaining to detention centers, private prisons, large industrial projects meeting certain criteria, and power generation facilities for private use.
Support.
I've got Treasurer Bud, support. Treasurer Bud's motion, Clerk Wright, support. This is a walk-on item. Director Akers, could you speak on it?
Yes, thank you. So the ownership group, which is handling the purchase of the rumored ICE detention center in Romulus, has also purchased warehouse space in Van Buren Township. It's not clear if there's any intent to establish a facility in the township, but after review of our development regulations, it's clear that we need to take some additional considerations with regards to private prisons and detention centers. Before the Township Board is a moratorium to defer the review of zoning applications related to this issue, and to also defer the review of water and sewer applications related to this issue. There is a significant difference between the amount of water and sewer demand between a warehouse and a detention center, and in certain areas of the township, or certain sanitary sewer districts in the township, we do have capacity issues which need to be considered for these type of facilities. Additionally included in this moratorium is a request to defer the consideration of larger industrial projects which meet certain criteria. The Planning Commission has expressed concern that the zoning ordinance allows certain permitted usage which, due to their size, scale, and potential impact on township utilities, should be considered as a special land use. Considering these as special land use would subject them to additional standards of approval and allow the Township Board to make the final decision regarding these issues. These provisions are not targeted at any one specific type of use, but would give our commission time to address size and scale in review of these uses. These moratoriums are intended to defer the consideration of any new applications. Any existing applications or projects that are currently under consideration will be allowed to continue their review and approval under our existing ordinances. And for further clarification, I just wanted to state that the moratorium is not applicable to any of the application submittals or approvals on existing applications related to the Project Cannoli Data Center project or the Stellantis MoPrep project, nor the moratorium apply to any application submittals related to the substations that are going to be required for these projects. Those items will continue to be considered under the existing township ordinances. So thank you for your consideration. Happy to answer any questions the board may have on this issue.
Just to remind everybody, we can't do moratoriums on anything that's already been presented. So it was moot point months ago on any of those other issues. We're trying to get ahead of any more of those kind of things coming at us. So, does anybody have any questions on this?
No question, I think it's needed, it's a good move. We've been asked to do this it's one of the things that we've been asked to do, that we can do, and I think it's a good thing for us to move on, so.
There are parts of our community that have bulletproof infrastructure, and quite frankly, that's Haggerty and 94. There are other parts where we have industrial areas that are not bulletproof infrastructure. The electrical's bad, the water, the water's okay, but not a lot, and the discharge is, inching up toward its capacity, so we've got to save that. So these are concerns that we need to make sure that we don't get sidetracked by a large-scale development that comes in, and based on the law, we'd probably have to approve, but based on reality, it's not going to work. All right. I have a motion by Treasurer Bud and supported by Clerk Wright. Does anybody else have any questions? Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are now into the public comment portion of our meeting. You have 3 minutes.
I have a housekeeping question now before the clock starts because something just came up. I thought Groundhog Day was last week, so stuff.
What?
Groundhog Day, stuff coming around and around and around, and I could have swore that Paul White wasn't the supervisor anymore. How do you have a walk-on item on an agenda topic that you were going to talk about without public consumption, whether it's on the computer or whatever? That's the first I've heard of it. I've been out of town forever. You can't do that anymore because we don't get to know what you're going to talk about beforehand. That's what Paul White used to do.
Okay, so this is going to be part of your 3 minutes if you want me to start responding, but quickly.
You can't respond on my time. You got to respond on your time. Come on, this isn't how it works. Go ahead.
Quickly, we always said we were going to put a moratorium on things that are heavy industrial uses of our infrastructure, such as data centers. We made it very clear we were going to do that. So nobody's surprised by that portion. The other portion, I'm sorry, I am going to do whatever the hell I can to keep an ICE detention facility out of Van Buren Township.
I agree, but we need to, in public consumption, because you're supposed to work with us, right? I didn't say I needed something mailed down south.
Brand new stuff.
We're gonna start the clock.
Now your clock starts.
Clock now, but the other thing that just popped up, how can you vote on item number 2 of your new business I just saw with this $113,496 if you don't have all your agreements in place? Because I just heard Director Akers say that there's a bunch of things that are still waiting. So if that affects this number, are you going to come back again, or
You want me to respond? You want me to respond during your 3 minutes?
Well, no, write it down.
No, never mind then.
Because I do want a response. Okay, the third thing is, when did the board change our name to Van Buren instead of Van Buren?
I know what you're talking
You
about.
do
Go ahead.
know exactly what I'm talking about. Over a year and 4 days ago, I contacted this township about that high dollar sign at the corner of
out?
Yes, it's still out. That's a shame that our township is, I want to know, and I'm going to be in town for about 9 months, so I want these answers from somebody. How much did we spend on all these signs that they can't get the end lit up on that sign sitting at the corner of Ecorse and Haggerty Road? I called you in the middle of the night. I woke up Clerk Wright during a football game at one time on a Sunday, but I started this a year ago this month. And I called you in July, I called you in August, and then I called you in November. And it's still not fixed. For all the more than $100,000 we paid that sign company, they can't get that N on? Terrible. I need an update on the racetrack court date, because that was supposed to be in January, and I haven't heard anything about the racetrack court date since I was the second person when I was in town to do a call for service and signed a complaint for that racetrack on Robson. I haven't heard anything from anybody about that. It was supposed to be in court January 3 weeks ago or something. All I read in the Independent was that Director Akers was gonna keep people in touch. I was assuming that would be the media too. What happened to the January court date? Are we keeping up on that? Are we gonna have something put in the community that we don't want, that you guys talked about that you didn't want, but I don't hear any follow-up on it? That's in my neck of the woods, 2,000 feet from my house. Okay, so we got some notes on that, and then I'm just gonna mention briefly, because you haven't talked about it yet, but I have been keeping up on this data center. And what I find is a shame that this board, there's only one person on this board, but there's two people on this board that were part of the planning commission. You guys failed us during the Visteon Cogen project, and the residents had to come in, and we had to spend multiple dollars and multiple hours. In fact, I kept you here till 3 o'clock in the morning on a public hearing, giving you a presentation that we finally kept the Visteon Cogen plant out of our neighborhood, and they moved it down and sold a hill of beans or bag of beans to Wayne and Canton, and they just put a gas recovery system over there, but they don't have the generators. Do we have to do that and sharpen the pitchforks and light the torches and come back here before you try to vote and push that data center down? Because yes, there is a use by right, but the township has 30,000 residents that has a right to have more questions answered. That dog and pony show that went by last week didn't cut it, because I reviewed that. I am here for a while.
Okay, okay.
Does anybody else wish to speak?
I'm Tracy Osborne, 10800 Hannon Road on Van Buren Township. I was here at the Planning Commission. I know they got their preliminary site plan approval for that data center. And so I presented some things. Let me step back. I find it kind of interesting that you're able to push aside an ICE detention center so quickly, but you push forward a data center that's just consuming so much stuff. My son's in law enforcement. He's dealt with illegal immigrants, and as a state trooper, he's had some issues. So I just find that interesting. But I presented some stuff that I'm concerned about. I think Director Akers, hopefully he wrote those down. So I wanted to get some answers to him. The setback limits for M1 to an R, I'm zoned to M1, but I want to know how it affects me as a residential property there, that I'm operating as a residential property. The other thing is the sound study they did in New Albany, Ohio, was done in the dead of winter, and it was done the coldest week, about the coldest week of the winter. And I'd like to see a sound study done for low frequency noise in the hot months of the summer, which will be July and August, where their chillers, their rooftop chillers, are operating at peak capacity, so that we can hear how that comes out. So, and again, I'm going to present that I'm concerned about the low frequency noise that could affect my special needs daughter. So we don't know how that's going to affect her, and being on that property, if that is a concern, what do we do at when that thing's built, and what do we do then? And then the other thing is I think I've mentioned this, and I think Mr. McNamara might have heard me at this meeting, is that I have a well, and that well is not fed by an aquifer. It is fed by an underground stream that is 15 feet underground. So it's a very shallow well. And I'm concerned about the ground movement around the property, that it might affect the flow of the stream of the well. So that, and I think that's about it. But I just want you to consider those things, place those in the eyes of that Fortune 50 company who has the amount of money they need to do what they need to do in order to test that low frequency noise. So I appreciate it. Thanks.
Mr. Osborne, you're the reason we tested for low frequency noise.
Yeah, I want to see it done in July.
Okay. Anybody else? Will speak?
She asked a question, how we was able to do this moratorium because we didn't.
Hi,
My name is Alicia Beanie. I'm a student at Eastern Michigan University. I have worked in Van Buren Township over at the airport, and I have lived in Wayne County for about 22 years now. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Marissa Modell. I'm also an Eastern Michigan student, but I also live in Southport Apartments.
I just want to second everything that those two gentlemen said. I think there is a lot to be said that you are very willing to say that an ICE detention center is an extreme stretch to have put in the area, but you're okay putting a data center because there are so many research just on sound that you were talking about in the Memphis study in Memphis, Tennessee. The sound from the data center that was put in Memphis, Tennessee was heard, I think, about a mile from the data center. So I know that data center, it's pretty close to the highway. I used to work at the Ramos Athletic Center for about 6 years. That's pretty close to there too. So I just think that there should be more sound testing done because I think that sound pollution is something that people don't really think about, especially if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you hear that constant buzzing and the incessant low frequencies. You can actually get sick from those as well. Anything you want to say?
I can't claim to be fully knowledgeable about the impacts that data centers have on water, but I'm just concerned about the water quality. That's my main concern.
I also am concerned about the fact that there's going to be they say that there will be no groundwater effect and there's going to be no discharge put in Belleville. So I'm wondering what the resolution will be in lieu of putting that solution, putting any like residual into Belleville Lake, where is going to be like the waste facilities for it. I saw that the Great Lakes Water Authority is going to be in charge of the water consumption, so I would love to see, I just learned about this last week, so I would love to see or know where I can get more data on like the water usage and the electrical usage and just the impact that's going to be put on the community, because I know people that live in this area and that sucks that their water and their electric bills are going to go up because people think that a data center for your ChatGPT app is a lot more convenient. And it also said that it's only about 600 jobs estimated, which I think is a little baffling because there's a huge job shortage everywhere in this country, and 600 jobs, I think it's stated just during the construction period alone. So I would like to see how many jobs will be created once it is fully built.
We have a frequently asked questions and a website set up for all these things, and all those questions were answered on there. If you wanted to get all those answers, we also published it in the local newspaper. Okay. Continue. Anything else? Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have 1.5 minutes.
But, and then I didn't see you taking notes to answer my questions.
Oh, some of your questions were viable.
Show that was last week at the Donuts for DTE and everybody. When Paul White was here, he was scared to death of our group that we put together on the back of a bar napkin. Because he was scared that Vistion and Amoresco and Hoosier and all the other individuals were going to sue the township for over $7 million to force that in. Well, a group of 30 people kept that out, like I just previously stated. So I don't care what you're threatened on. If you think BlackRock and China and the other part of that Fortune 550 that's on there that nobody wants to talk about, because I read that too, that they didn't want to say who the actual Fortune 50 people were. The first time I put a FOIA in, somebody better come up with that, because you can't hide that. Or any of these other residents. If they want to know who that part of that Fortune 50 company is, try to keep it from the residents. That's a federal lawsuit. You guys would have way problems with 30,000 people signing a lawsuit against this township for well over $7 million. So that data center is a problem. We don't have much time to do it, but we did it with the cogen, and we can do it with this data center to stop it and hold it up, and they can move it somewhere else. You can smirk all you want, because you had those issues when you were a Wayne County executive or whatever you wanted to call it.
I agree with you at that time on the cogen.
No,
I did.
You were a resident in Canton at the time,
was
but
on
we
your side
won
at that
that.
time.
And we can still win this because the township residents were filled with a bunch of horse crap We did the sound studies that this township didn't do, and Ms. Budd, you were on the planning commission. I think, Trustee Kelly, you were sort of new to the planning commission during the cogen plant. But you seen the 30 people we had, the engineers that lived in this township, the lawyers that lived in this township,
But your
and
time's
the
up.
doctors that we had in the township, and that's
Thank
a
you very
call
much.
for those individuals to come to here and give
Mr.
their
Delaney,
expertise.
we're all
Because you
set.
lied to us on sound studies.
Mr.
and I can
Delaney,
prove it.
you're running way past your time.
I've got the receipts.
Thank you. We're now into board comment. Does anybody from the board wish to make comment? Hearing none, sorry.
Only comment would be, there is no, there's no FOIA information for a non-disclosure agreement because it doesn't have any name on the non-disclosure agreement. We already have somebody put in a FOIA for that. I can't tell you what it is because the name is not on the agreement. Well, that would be from the state, state. You would have to FOIA the state, that's what I'm saying. I don't have it. We don't have it.
You, and you can ask the state to give us the answer. We did that with cogen.
Well, if the state tell you, the state can tell you the answer, then if they know. I'm just telling you that we
So
don't
FOIA
have,
the state.
we don't have any information that has a name on it. So I can't disclose anything that we don't have.
But the crooks at MDEQ that changed their name to Eagle, they gave us this whole dog and pony show that we shut down. You were there, Leon.
I know, I'm just giving you the information in regards to the
I'm in
FOIA.
court with Eagle right now. They don't exactly talk to me. Yeah.
I have a motion. I make the motion, we adjourn for the.
I have a motion for adjournment. Do I have a second?
You can answer the question regarding the,
You got 3 questions to answer.
I don't have any questions to answer. Why?
Because you said you were gonna
answer his questions.
What were the questions?
sign.
The question he asked you about the sign,
I asked for the sign to be fixed. It didn't get fixed. Oh, there's gonna be a lot of talk tomorrow.
I got a question that I can answer, because I told you to answer. The reason why we can do a moratorium on what we think is coming is because it hasn't came. We can't do a moratorium on anything that already has been permitted.
Once the land's in this
assisted.
building, we
Once
can't
they,
moratorium it.
once the application is in, we cannot do a moratorium on it because it's already existing.
And our ordinances are state ordinance. Basically, property owners have rights, and the state protects those rights through zoning. They also protect the locals' rights through zoning. But if they're zoned industrial and they're named industrial, property owner rights win. In Saline, it took 6 days for the court to overturn the entire council. 6-day lawsuit. I'm spending $300,000 on the Eagle for radioactive waste. I've spent $1 million on Vistion. I spend money when I think I can win. All right.
Now you can entertain the motion.
Now all right, I have a motion now by trustee Frazier. Do I have support for adjournment? Support. Support by Kevin Martin. Hearing no discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.